We are here to create a new earth, but what does it mean exactly, and how do we create it? Welcome to Let's Get Inspired. I am so grateful for your presence, and my desire is for this moment together to be a source of inspiration for your path. I am Gwenolite Woods, a seeker of wholeness, and know deep in my heart that we can restore harmony. I come to share with you a different perspective I have developed throughout my life, always looking for ways to heal division. Today, I would like to speak about our awakening. First, because I want to validate how challenging it is, and also share how exciting it is. It might seem contradictory, but again, as I love to say, it is a question of perspective. So yes, I want to validate how challenging it is because when you are a sensitive person, it is definitely not easy and can feel quite confusing, lonely, and scary at times. Many of us can relate to this. When I look into the meaning of our awakening, what feels most relevant is remembrance, this notion that we are going through a raising of consciousness. When I hear about wholeness, and more recently about Lemuria, my heart lights up. I cannot explain why exactly, but I feel a deep truth in this kind of remembrance, a beacon I want to walk towards. As my awareness grows, I see how much we humans belong here, absolutely worthy and deeply connected to the earth. The more I explore, the more I see how what is happening with our culture is a misalignment, creating a separation from life. Raising consciousness is not just about becoming aware of what is not working, although it is definitely part of it, but about the remembrance of a much bigger story, which has been hidden for a very long time. This gives our awakening a great purpose I find so empowering. The challenge we are faced with is that in this process of remembrance, we encounter many triggers along the way. I see our culture based on the physicality of life only, with a perspective of scarcity and lack, while the bigger story is about wholeness and alignment with life, which is connected and abundant. The trick is that, in my observation, what we need to realign with are pretty much all the things that have been rejected or hidden by the culture. All that has been defined as not proper, not acceptable, stupid, or even fake. I would go as far as saying that everything that is part of being aligned with life has been made taboo. I see this when I look at how we culturally judge sensitivity, spirit, psychic abilities, invisible beings, and so many other things. It is part of our education, which to my great sadness I became aware of one day when I realized that I was being made afraid of nature, needing to protect myself from the sun, the bees, the weeds, and so on. It just dawned on me that I was raised to be afraid of life. Afraid of the wild, basically afraid of nature. This was a very painful realization and did not feel right at all. The deeper I went within to deal with these fears, the more I saw how it all came from the cultural structure. I was not the source of these fears. They had been taught, and I needed to unlearn them if I wanted to reconnect to the earth. Now, the reason I see our great challenge with coming out of all this is that we are so used to it. So it does take awareness and efforts to shift perspective in order to see the bigger story. But through our efforts, we are actually turning the lights on. Those switch that you turn to get more or less light? Well, this is how I see us. Light switches. Isn't it empowering when you look at it this way? Through our own practice, we are progressively turning the lights on. This is what we came here to do at this time. And because it is a time of awakening, the lights will stay on, while more and more people will discover their light switch and also turn it on. Can you see this in your mind's eyes? More and more people turning the lights on? It's happening right now, you know. Yes, at this point, it needs to be a conscious daily choice. And that is why nurturing our remembrance of wholeness is so important. Because it is the switch. It is through practicing your remembrance that the light gets to be more and more on. When through meditation I start to feel the wholeness of life, I feel so held and hopeful, becoming aware that we are here to integrate this. And it is this very process that creates our new earth, transforming us individually as it awakens our heart energy. So this is how I see it, a realignment with life so that we can be whole again. There are so many amazing and magical things to realign ourselves with as we reintegrate the invisible side of life. And as you know, in the invisible side are so many beings supporting us. We are definitely not doing this alone. As we go within and allow ourselves to remember the bigger story, we can start to feel this support. As we realign with life, our soul is also able to come online a lot more. Our soul is already connected and has all that is needed in order to support our human self. Restoring wholeness is very much an inner story, because the more we make space by clearing our triggers and deconstructing the culture, the more we can sense and be inspired by our own spirit, our soul. We are being invited to remember that all we need is within. We are indeed very much part of life. As human, we belong, and as spirit, we bring remembrance. We are so loved and wanted, which can be felt as we realign with life. It has been my experience and main motivation, as I want to keep feeling this more and more. When you look at it this way, isn't awakening the greatest thing? How amazing is it that we are participating in the restoration of wholeness after such a long time without it? It is definitely when I remember this that I feel empowered and can find grounding. Even though, yes, at this point it is a daily practice and not always the easiest when you are very sensitive. But isn't it absolutely worth it? We are participating in the revival our ancient ancestors knew would come. How amazing is that? So yes, the culture is very distorted, and being the pioneers that we are, our task is big, to say the least. But you know what? We came equipped with a strong heart. We are slowly but surely weaving in ourselves and the world. So this is what I wanted to mention in this episode. Yes, it is greatly challenging, and the more you connect to your remembrance, the more you can make sense of this transformation, which is cleansing and making space for something much more connected. Reviving heart frequency is the whole point of this time. How courageous are we to have chosen this path of remembrance? Participating in the restoration of wholeness. This remembrance speaks through our senses. Our soul already knows so much and always inspires us to feel how much we are part of life. All we need to do is open ourselves. It sounds very simple, doesn't it? And it is. But I also agree that it is not always the easiest or obvious. So let us be gentle with ourselves. We are awakening, and it is a process. We have been asleep for so long. Yes, it does take a strong commitment to keep showing up. At least it has been true for me. But as I said earlier, when I remember that we are going through the revival of heart frequency and that it takes place through us, I really want to keep showing up, because this is by far what I want to support. You know, we are blessed for becoming aware, because then we know that there is another way. We know wholeness exists and is possible. We know we are not alone and have the ability within to diffuse fears. We can remember and rejoice the revival of heart energy when we are aware. By shifting perspective, we can see the blessings this awakening is. Finally, we are remembering another way that can transform suffering and heal division. Can you feel this? It is so uplifting to awaken, so motivating, because the more we work on this, the more we ground and manifest this remembrance. It already exists. We are simply awakening it in the human race, rediscovering our ability to co-create with the invisible. How magical is that? We are awakening. We are becoming conscious, restoring the wholeness of life. And it is so exciting. So yes, nurture your remembrance. Spend as much time as you can on it with all that inspires and empowers you. You are not alone. We are so many. And together we do have the power to restore harmony. So thank you for your presence, your courage, and your willingness. We can do this, We have what it takes. May my knowing inspires your knowing. And until we meet again, sending much love and gratitude for all you do, like me, to manifest on your earth.